Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Tuesday, 27th of August, 2024. We'd like to, words are hard. Anyways, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a moment and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on X, smash that heart. And we love each and every one of you guys.
We do. Although we took yesterday off.
Well, we didn't want to, but
Well, we didn't want to, but,
yeah.
you know, it happened. Anyways, thank you for your patience with us
Yes.
for our unexpected day off.
So we got F. Clint in the house.
What's up, F. Clem?
Let's see here.
F. Clem talking about. I got the Monday blues yesterday. Oh, no. Watch out, Fire and 8. Man.
We're glad
Not the
to
Monday
be back,
blues. Yeah,
too.
we're glad we're back too. Yeah, we're happy. We're happy. Thank you.
Hey, Brother Bill.
What's up, Brother Bill? How you doing?
Got Miss
Bethany
Bethany
Ann.
in. Oh, thank goodness it
Yeah.
ends today.
Yeah, ready for retrograde to end because it's been an awful
Yeah.
retrograde. What's up, Chachi?
Got Chachi in the house.
How you doing? Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming in. Thank all of you for coming in.
Got Miss Jenny in the house.
Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Oh, things are much better today, Jenny. Thank you so much.
Yeah, things are better.
Got Miss Jan over there on X.
Graham Jam. How you doing, Jan?
Miss Renee.
Renee, thanks for joining
we
us.
missed you guys too.
Yeah, thanks. We missed y'all. Yeah, we missed y'all.
Got Lightsphere.
What's up, Lightspear? Before you take a day off, got to what? Oh, run it through. Okay, we'll have to remember that. Thank you, Lightspear. Appreciate that.
Miss Jan saying hello to Rumble, Twitch, and Phil.
There we go. Jan, always the great
Oh
hostess.
no.
AC struggling. Can't wait to see my electric bill. Oh yeah, that should be awful.
Oh yeah. Ew, yucky.
I did see somebody saying that they were in the dog days of summer now.
Ew.
Thank you, Bethany.
So Miss Jenny saying hello to Miss Jan. Gotta put those across
Cross platforms.
platforms.
Got to do the communication here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear there is quite a bit going on. You know, that and we decided to take a day off after a weekend. I know we were slacking. I don't care.
We didn't want to. It was a lot of shit going on.
Whatever. We were out by the beach
No, we weren't.
sipping Mai Tais.
No. I wish. That would have been nice, but no.
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 In my mind, I was there.
Okay.
All right. So what do we got going on? Because I know that there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yep. We're going to go ahead and get going.
All right. Let's do this.
RFK Jr. in one swift swoop just got the entire DNC to shit their pants simultaneously. Let me tell you what happened if you're not watching him. He's currently on now. We've been waiting to hear this all day. Is he going to drop out and endorse Trump? What's going to happen? It's been back and forth, just like the surprise yesterday at the DNC was just Kamala. He came on and said, I am not terminating my campaign. I am simply suspending it. He also goes on to say, I am removing myself from battleground states. Therefore, in battleground states, it is Trump versus Kamala. In every other state that he was allowed to get his name onto, it is Trump versus RFK versus Kamala. This is the checkmate of all fucking checkmates, though. He goes on to say he endorses Trump in those battleground states. This is a big deal. These battleground states can make or break this election. I know they say every other state is just what it's assumed to be. I don't know. I feel like a lot of things are changing, but I underestimated this guy. RFK Jr. is a fucking savage. Good for you. Let's fucking go.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on around JFK Jr. or RFK Jr. right now. There's like tons of stuff. So I don't know how much you want me to dive into this, but
well, we got more videos.
Are you following it up? Well, no, I mean, go ahead and follow up with the videos, unless it's not one right after the other. I don't know. How do you have it set up?
We have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more videos about RFK.
Like next?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want to like sit here and say dumb shit because I don't know everything.
Well,
in terms of just go ahead and start playing the next one then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Earmuffs. We got sassy.
Well, yeah, that should give us a good indicator as to what's being said.
There we go.
Hey, Mega Ange and Renee. I think we got. Did we get Renee? And Mega
yeah, I got.
Yeah. And then obviously Rambo's here. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I saw that he did that.
Yeah, and then I know that Michigan as well is playing the shenanigans, saying it's too late, but he's still trying to remove somebody else.
Yeah, I know, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So okay.
All right.
Let's go with
all right. Let's do this one. Let's see what we got going on.
Hey now, need y'all to check on your liberal friends. Are they okay? Oh yeah, bless them. Mama, look, you know they ain't okay. Beyonce didn't show up. That's the only reason anybody went. No, and the $50,000. RFK Jr. is going to be with Trump. Lord, there goes the rest of them independent votes. If the Liberal Party gets any more bombshells, Lord, honey, they gonna need a ceasefire. Oh, Lord. Somebody check on Kamala, Kamalili, Kamalama Ding Dong, Hamilton, Kamala. Somebody check on her. You know she got 12 people rewriting the same speech she's gave 74 times already. She tore up from the floor up, probably twerking. Somebody check on Kamala. Call Kamala. She probably done already had a three-way phone call. It's Zelensky. Are you all gonna be okay? Do you need some Kleenex? You want me to go ahead and get you a life raft? Some IV hydration? Ain't got long till November. I want you to get dehydrated or drown in your own tears. Yeah, I tell you to cry on Beyonce's shoulder, but she didn't show up either. At least you got Michael Obama. Yeah, talking about income inequality, living in 5011 mansions, the finest of fineries and fettuccine on their private yacht, making $30 million a year, while your food stamp card get rejected because you bought one too many loaves of bread. Equality. Yeah. Check on them.
It's been a fun few days.
Yeah, I bet it has. So yeah, he really got into one of the points, and that is that's going to take so many of the independent votes.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the independent votes, and it's becoming very clear now. Like, it's not a shock to any of us that one of the Kennedys and Trump are working together, and that they're able to put aside their differences. And I think that that's going to be one of the biggest things. Is it will show that they can put aside their differences.
Yeah,
and then we'll get into the whole CIA bit later, I guess.
Yes, we will. But first, Kim Clement.
Kim Clement. All right.
Let's go.
Oh, wow. All right. Let's see what we got here.
After the Kennedys, says the Spirit of God was spoken of. Now I will join hands between Democrats and Republicans that do an unusual thing, says the Spirit of God. Come on. They will say what they tried to increase, now they are decreasing. And God says it shall be a sign. But even now that the Kennedys have come to this place, I spoke about it, that there would be a massive outbreaking and outpouring in the system, in this nation, the political system. The three enemies that shall rise up and already on their way. I will take them, I will set ambushments against them, they will compound themselves, and this nation shall rise above the occasion and come to oneness with God, says the Lord. Come on!
Huh?
Yeah, Jenny summed it up right there. Unity. That's exactly it. It's the unity that it's going to bring. It's going to be something that hasn't been seen since, I'm going to say, the end of the Democratic Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one that Jefferson and Jackson were a part of, and that was the time that was called the era of good feelings, because people were able to recognize that they had difference of opinion. We don't have to hate each other for it. Renee says, this is so exciting to see. I feel for the people not watching the glory. They'll get to see it. We just get to revel in it a lot longer than they do. I think that that's our gift, is that we're actually seeing what's going on. And there's going to be a lot of people who are stressed out, a lot of people not knowing what's going on. That's fine. We'll catch all of them as time goes on. And then it's going to be really neat to watch a really what could possibly be another golden age of America because of unity. If we can get unity down, that's half the battle, really, in the end.
So speaking of Jenny, got Christian talking about RFK. I told you,
Nice.
we got 3 more videos.
Oh, here we go. All right, we got 3 more videos.
Am I
What's
the
up,
only
Christian?
one that caught on that RFK Jr. started out on the far left, Democratic ticket, red pilling the ever-living shit out of Democrats, then moved as an independent, red pilled the ever-living shit out of the independents, and now this.
I don't think too many of you people have heard of him. He's very low-key. He's a very low-key person, but he's highly respected. He is a great person. I've known him for so long. For the past 16 months, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes. There goes my hero. Sergeant Mary.
Man, whoa. And he deserves it. He deserves it.
Go ahead, read that.
But RFK is, and I bet he wants vengeance. And it's a Q post says, is JFK Jr. alive? And then Q said no.
But
Q.
RFK is.
Yes, he is. So, and I even want to say that Christian had talked about it too. That, well, I mean, I think a lot of people were talking about the fact that he was definitely there to help Trump out. And I think a lot of people had seen that for quite a while now. Brother Bill says, notice how Vance is naturally fading into the background since RFK Jr. came on board.
Actually,
That's interesting.
he's talking a lot more, Brother Bill. I've got tons of videos on him too.
All right. You're right, Rambo. The Q also said the world isn't flat too. Yeah. Comments moved on you.
Huh?
The comments moved on you.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So really take a step back and look at that. And Rambo pointed it out. And that was one of the things that I was going to talk about too, is the pyrotechnics, the rock star treatment that's going on. Why all of a sudden is that happening? That's very interesting, isn't it? It's almost like it points to something. There you go. Rambo says Vance is all over the place.
He really is.
No, Bill, I don't think he's a placeholder so much. I think that that they're both going to do two very different things coming up here in the future. And I think we're going to talk about that at one of the other two videos that are left.
We're coming.
But I want to talk about the rock star kind of treatment. When do you ever see a politician do the rock star thing? I mean, obviously it looks better than Hillary with the balloons, whatever. Anyway, so I think it's kind of pointing something. And then they're also the music that they're playing, like WWE became a part of it. But then again, Trump also appointed, what's her name?
Tulsi Gabbard.
No.
Oh, who?
To part of his transition team too. The wrestling dude's wife.
Oh,
McMahon. And Trump has
Linda McMahon.
Yeah, Linda McMahon. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they aren't trying to build that excitement, but at the same time, it's sending a very specific message. Okay, I'm done now.
I don't know. I think there's a lot. So this is Preston's response about Trump. And we're going to get into that next after this one. Slow y'all's roll.
Hey, look.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
And this right here, my friends, is the exact moment the Harris campaign and the Democratic Party completely began to panic. After all, these two guys here are the same ones that the Democratic Party has used every single legal battle within their arsenal to try to take down over the last 12 months and completely failed in doing so. Seeing RFK Jr. join Team Trump and seeing the two individuals together on that stage last night in Arizona was absolutely one of the most patriotic things I have seen in this election cycle. And it showed the American people just how disgusting, corrupt, and dangerous the Democratic Party is for RFK to suspend his campaign and join forces with President Trump. That, my friends, is what you call choosing your country over your party. The Harris campaign, obviously, in complete panic today following yesterday's events. What you're going to see over the next couple of weeks is nothing but complete lies and rhetoric being spread from the campaign about RFK Jr. as they continue to try to take him down, as they have over the last several months. They see their momentum dwindling every single day. The American people don't see that because obviously the mainstream media and the pollsters, they don't want you to know that. But to every single patriot out there, I say this: do not take your foot off the gas. While we have a lot to celebrate from last night and this weekend and the week to come, we must continue to make our voice heard louder than ever before, continue to fight harder than we've ever fought, and make sure that united as one, just as those two were last night on that stage, we are fighting to carry President Trump across that finish line come November. Don't forget, it will absolutely take every single one of us to make our voices heard through our vote on November 5th. Going to be a razor thin race, but we've got this. Much love. God bless. Let's do this.
All right.
Whew. It's getting interesting, isn't it?
It's getting interesting. And I think it's very important for people to understand, because we just found two people, avid Trump supporters, weren't planning on voting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, make sure you're talking to people because we still got to do our part. We still got to keep talking about it. And he's right. People are going to go after RFK Jr. now, without a doubt. That's how politics is played. They were content to let him be nothing and not talk about him because they felt that anytime they talked about him, it would only raise his brand. So they understood that much of the strategy. But what they weren't anticipating is this big steal. It's a steal because he is very far left, and we have to remember that this country is filled with people from the far left all the way through to the far right and everything in between, and a whole bunch of people who don't want to identify with any of it. And this is one of those things that will help even bring the people that don't want to identify with any of it, because they'll say, okay, this is a real deal move across the aisles to get people to, like come back together. But that does not mean because we can get into an easy place of some kind of sense of security, a false sense of security, and then not vote and then screw it all up. So yeah, we got to make sure not only are we going out to vote, but we got to make sure our friends and family are going out to vote. Because they may feel like, it's not going to make a difference. It's going to have to, it's going to make a difference because we see them trying to steal all the time. They're still trying to do it by not removing RFK from the ballot up in Michigan. And,
Exactly.
and what was that? Kentucky too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to play the games.
Yep.
Get people out to vote.
Yep. You ready?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
This is what you guys have been talking about.
So the CIA, I mean, a lot of roads lead back, unfortunately, to our most powerful intelligence agency. If you were asked, would you run it? Would you become CIA director if you were asked?
I would never get, yes, I would, but I would never get Senate confirmation. As you know, the intelligence agency are protected by very, very powerful committees in the Senate and in the House that are all read into the project, and the people who serve on those committees are people who would, they would not, they're safeguarding that directorship, and I would be very, very dangerous for those committees. So I don't think that.
And yet, in his, in your joint appearance on Friday, President Trump introduced you by saying that he plans to, if elected, establish a commission to declassify the remaining documents around your uncle's murder in 1963.
Yeah.
And I think everyone at this point knows the truth, which is the CIA is implicated in that. Those documents protect CIA, maybe among others.
Well, whether they do or not, I mean, it's odd that they've not allowed them to be released.
What could possibly be the explanation?
More than 60 years after my uncle's death, almost 65 years. 62 years after his death. And none of the people who were implicated in that crime are alive now.
Yes.
And the last ones have died off in the last year or two. And so it clearly is to protect the institution.
Yes.
And that's wrong. It's just wrong. And it's wrong for a Democrat and it's wrong for Republicans.
It's just interesting, though, that a bipartisan list of presidents, these 6 decades, have kept those files classified.
Well, you and I have both. I was astonished that Trump didn't declassify him because he promised to during the campaign.
That was Mike Pompeo who did that.
Yeah, and that I talked to President Trump for the first time about that this week. And
what did he say?
He said that Mike Pompeo begged him to. And I don't think I'm telling tales out of school here.
No,
I think he told the same thing to you.
That's
right?
true.
But he said Mike Pompeo called him and said this would be a catastrophe to release these. You need to not do it. And then,
I want to say again, I think Mike Pompeo is a criminal. So that's my view. He's threatened to sue me for saying that, but I hope he will because it's true. But that kind of tells the whole story right there, right? That the CIA is.
Well, yeah. So that's
why would the CIA be trying to keep these files classified if they had nothing to do with the murder? I don't really get that.
Yeah, but the subject we were talking about was the weaponization of the federal agency, and that's just one of them. And then they get, then they open up these censorship portals the 37 hours after President Biden takes office, where now you have the FBI involved in American politics, and which we ran them out in the 60s, because we were outraged that they were even They were bugging Martin Luther King and the Black Panther
Yes.
Party, and Americans were indignant about that. Why do they think this? I mean, why have we gotten to the point where it's so normalized and now we're okay with the FBI running a portal to censor political speech in our country and then inviting in the CIA and the CISA and the IRS? I don't know what they were doing in there.
Nothing
and
good.
NIH and, CDC and all these other agencies, DHS, which all had a hand in censoring American speech.
So,
All right. So we got to the meat and potatoes finally.
there you go.
All right. So a lot of things. Rambo hit the nail on the head as far as I'm concerned. I feel the exact same way. This is disclosure. This is a software predictive programming is the process. It's just done in reverse to wake people up. This is being done to get people with the concept of him being in charge of the CIA and him being prevented by powerful people within the committees that would never confirm him for that, which, yes, that is very true at this point in time, but I have a feeling that a lot of those people might get wrapped up in some of the other investigations going on, and that those people might find themselves being pulled out and taken out of those positions where they could prevent something like that. If nothing else, I can only imagine that President Trump would most certainly want to be a part of breaking it up into 1,000 pieces. Not going to go away, just going to be broken up into 1,000 pieces. And what does that look like? I really don't know at this point in time, but I have a feeling that that's exactly what's going to happen. By the way, thank you, Magga. And she said Kim Clement prophesized a new party. I think he did. As a matter of fact. And this is, it sounds right. I do recall that. I'm going to say that, hey, Aaron, there you are. What's going on, man? Anyways, yeah, I have to say that we're probably going to see a new version of the Democratic Republican Party. 100%. Yeah. And scattered to the wind. Yes, broken into 1,000 pieces and scattered to the wind. Got to do something with all those people, though. But I think that we're already starting to see them being scattered to the wind. Because who's that curly-haired dude that was going on the circuit there for the big podcast there for a while? The former CIA guy, kind of spilling some beans, but not all of them.
I don't know his name.
God, I can't. He's got his own podcast too. I can't remember his name, but yeah, former CIA guy. He's been out there talking about everything. He was even on the Sean Ryan show. So yeah, I think that it's already started to get scattered to the winds because they're going to find something for these people to do. Because really, if you think about it, they have a very particular skill set, and got to keep them happy.
Yeah. So, how about some Kelly?
And yeah, you're right, Stephen.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be doing a rope dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
All right.
You
So,
ready?
yeah, let's drive on.
Got Kelly.
All right. I could do some Kelly.
Because we're going to need Kelly for what we're going to talk about after Kelly. So, let's go.
Okay.
Hey, Christian, it's time to enlarge your vision, because what you expect, you will get. If you dwell on positive thoughts, your life will move in that direction. If you continually think negative thoughts, you will live a negative life. If you expect defeat, failure, and mediocrity, your subconscious mind will make sure that you lose, fail, or sabotage every attempt to push you forward. That's why one of the key elements in enlarging your vision is raising your level of expectation. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you need to do is set your mind in the right direction. All right, Kelly, how do we do that? That's a great question. It's pretty easy, actually. Just start speaking to yourself out loud. Tell yourself, this is going to be a great day. God is guiding and directing my steps. His favor is surrounding me. His goodness and mercy are following me. I am excited about today. You see what I'm saying? Start your day with faith and expectation, and then go out in the world and expect good things. Expect circumstances to change in your favor. Expect people to go out of their way to help you. Expect to be at the right place at the right time. That's called faith, you know. We should get up every morning confidently expecting the favor of God. Seriously, start expecting God to open up doors of opportunity for you. Start expecting God to help you excel in your career. Start expecting that God is helping you rise above the challenge. You see, the truth is, God usually meets us right at our level of expectation, because expectation is the cup that God will fill up. Okay, what's that supposed to mean? That means if I come to God with a sippy cup saying, this is all I need from you, God, just fill this up, he'll do that for you. Or you can come with a swimming pool saying, God, this is what I believe you can fill up, and he'll fill that up for you too. The difference is, what do you expect? Look, if you don't develop the habit of expecting God to show up in everything you do and everywhere you go, you're not very likely to receive anything good. If you don't expect things to get better, they probably won't. If all you expect is more the same of what you already have, then that's all you're ever going to have. Our expectations set the boundaries for our lives. Even Jesus said, according to your faith, that's your expectation, be it done to you. As a man thinks, so is he. In other words, what Jesus is trying to say is you have what your faith expects. My friends, that's what faith is all about. You have to start believing that God is for you and that he has good things for you, and they're coming my way. If you start thinking and speaking like that, they will come your way, because our God is that good. Shift your mindset today. Instead of focusing on how horrible things are today, start speaking out loud. God, I know that today is the day you're going to turn it all around. God, I thank you that today is the day my business is going to blow up. God, I thank you that today is the day I receive my miracle. Now, admittedly, sometimes the good things don't happen as quick as we want them to. But instead of slouching into negative expectations, we have to keep our minds set on God. Your attitude should be, God, I know you're at work in my life. And even though the miracle I've been waiting for didn't happen today, I know I'm one day closer to it. I'm one day closer to my answered prayer. And devil, there's no way I'm going to get upset or impatient with God. I'm not going to get discouraged, because God, I know your timing is perfect. So I'm going to stay in my attitude of faith and keep trusting you to do what's best, because he always does. Start believing that things are going to change for the better. Not because you deserve it, but simply because God loves you that much. And think about that for a minute.
Okay, thoughts?
Nice. Renee says, watch Kelly preaching the whole sermon last week. Lifted me up for sure. Yeah, he's amazing, isn't he?
Mhm.
So this is kind of part of that faith. Let's see. Bill says, that's exactly what I'm trusting God for. Restoration of everything the enemies tried to steal from me. In Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pray for that for you as well. Yeah, it is solid encouragement, Stephen. Okay, so this goes to the faith of the mustard seed kind of thing, right? So yeah, you got to have a little faith over a long period of time. And we understand, and it's been a while since we talked about it, but it's either a yes, no, or not right now. And if it's not right now, that means that you have growth to do still. And so you understand that you have to go through these things so that way you can get to that prize, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. And so, yeah, you got to keep that faith, and you can't be mad. You can't be upset that it's not happening, especially when, it's like when you go through a problem and that would answer your problem. But that means that there's other lessons that we got to learn in that. So we got to have that, consistent faith. It may be just a little bit, but we got to keep it going all the time. Okay. Have a good night.
Well, she's still going to watch us. She
Oh,
just
okay.
won't be able to comment.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
we love you too.
Yeah. Sleep well.
Enjoy the
enjoy
the big screen.
Enjoy the big
us.
screen. There you go. Anyway, so it's having a little bit of faith over a long period of time, which is another one of the things that we've played Kelly talking about here. But it all works together. It all makes a lot of sense, and it's all great advice that we should, take into consideration.
We have to. We absolutely have to, because I had 3 videos on this next thing, and all 3 of them got taken down.
What?
So the Democrats have a new slogan: strength through joy.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is where it came from.
Strength through joy. Oh, kind of like the oh God, what is it? Work makes you free.
Uh-huh.
Arbeit macht frei. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, and that would also explain why they took it down, because you can't talk
Uh-huh.
about the Nazis.
Right?
Exactly,
why I
Stephen.
didn't
The
say
joy of the Lord is my
anything.
strength. Yeah, but I've talked about Nazis here
Yeah.
quite a bit. It seems to be
Well,
something
that is
that's not
their
quite as
that is their
taboo as it was.
uh that is their new slogan.
Hmm.
Strength through joy.
Is any of this a surprise? Honestly, is any of it a surprise?
No.
They always do this. Antifa, look at their logo. It's the exact same logo that was, well, Antifa back in the 30s in the Weimar Republic, leading to the rise of the Nationalist Socialist Party.
Mhm. Exactly.
So, yeah, we know who they are. No
Yeah.
surprise. Okay, surprise.
I know. It's really crazy, but at the same time, they're horrible people.
Well, I mean, they care about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of them,
Mm-hmm.
so here's a victim of Kamala's week on crime record.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm Amanda Kiefer. I don't feel like I belong on the stage with the folks here, since I seem to have gotten off kind of easy with just a fractured skull. I didn't lose loved ones, but the night I was walking to dinner in Pacific Heights, it was a nice neighborhood. You wouldn't expect broad daylight for something violent to happen to you on the way to dinner. My purse was stolen, and I stepped into the street, and the car he jumped into came at me. I jumped up on the hood to avoid getting run over, and he floored it and hit the brakes. The police were great. They had caught him and his accomplice in a really short time, because I remember being on a gurney in the hallway of the hospital, and I had to ID them. They were laughing as they fractured my skull. What was really the worst part about it all, though, is when I found out that taxpayer money was paying for job training for this guy who avoided going to prison for the first felony he committed for jobs he couldn't legally hold. It was kind of a wake-up moment for me, and I moved out of San Francisco because I didn't feel safe there. And I don't think our country is going to be safe under Kamala Harris.
Thoughts?
This is why the soft on crime stuff is annoying to so many people. But we know who Kamala is.
No.
And I just had a connection today with Kamala, by the way. I realized I have a dilemma now. Is who has a more annoying laugh, Kamala Harris or Fran Drescher?
Or Hillary Clinton.
Well, I mean, she's just evil. She cackles. Anyway, but
She's
whatever.
just
Anyways,
awful.
so the soft on crime thing. Back to that. It's awful to see. I hope and pray that we get back to some sense of what justice is, because it hasn't been very just. Do people need second chances? Yeah, without a doubt. But the judges should also be able to understand the character of the people that the character of the people that they're letting go out, and we're not seeing that. It seems like the worst of the worst get let out, and it seems like the decent ones are put into the system to make sure that they get institutionalized, and that's not too awesome. And these are things that definitely need to change. Hey, Steph.
Change? I mean, there's so much that needs to change.
There's tons of stuff that needs to change, but I have a feeling that, Trump, putting these appointments together and stuff like that, I have a feeling that, it's designed to absolutely disrupt the system that is so broken, because there's so much that's broken.
Yeah.
I even had one of the people talking today about somebody else. Don't normally have the conversations with, and they're talking about the IRS going away. Talking about a lot of these, the Fed, the IRS going away. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to ask where they got their info from, because I'd love to hear other sources. But the good thing is people are willing to speak out about this stuff in a very public manner when they weren't before. So this drive to push people towards the truth and drive to push people to get Trump elected again, these are going to be the things that we can do to make sure that those kinds of attacks are prevented in the future, because the justice system is being applied more appropriately in a manner it used to be, which kept our streets much safer back in the day.
Well, Hills Up said, just in the last couple of days, that once she gets elected, she's going to finish the border wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why didn't she do it this past 4 years?
Exactly.
As the border czar.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
I know
it's not Wednesday, but that deserves a whatever.
It does.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I got sassy again. And pay close attention
You're
to
always
this
sassy.
video.
Oh.
Tim Walz.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be real serious about this because this rubs me the wrong way. Do we got to have a come to Jesus meeting with Mr. Tim Walz? Let's watch this viral footage going around. Pay close attention to the arm. You see that? Let's watch it again. Rewind. Well, the family man himself. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you see that? That was his angry face. Be y'all's face making flannel wearing fucking American Dad of the Year ain't what he appears to be. He's just full of fucking shit. Ain't no farm boy Freddy. Or like Freddy fucking Krueger. Did we just catch a glimpse of the real Tim? The behind closed doors Tim? You know that son got a learning disability. What I wouldn't give to have 5 minutes to sit down with that kid. After this big heartfelt bullshit scene that the Democrats staged of this kid crying over that's my dad, to appeal to the family value dynamic of America. Makes you wonder why that kid was really crying during that American Dad Act. Maybe he's afraid if he didn't get it right, what might be waiting when he got home. I'm here to tell you, you don't never damn know. How you act when nobody's looking. That tells me all the fuck I need to know. Thing it wasn't a child. Pull its whole ass arm out of socket. As somebody who's worked with shit like you, where there's smoke, there's fucking fire. Abusers become narcissistic. They think they're so good they can't never be caught. And they drop that damn guard. He's done it here, he's done it before. There may be more to what meets the eye to these subtle reactions. In his case, not so subtle. Look, I ain't got no kids and I know how they can be. But baby, this ain't no kid. That's a grown-ass man pulling on a grown-ass man. He was walking fine. Why so aggressive? Unless he's always aggressive. Maybe this happy-go-lucky Tim is a fucking facade. Social service stat. I said what I said. Somebody need to look into this man. And that's on fucking money. Bye.
Thoughts?
That's, infuriating. I'm going to go with infuriating. That's because, you could tell he's special needs, and that's his son.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he was lagging behind. Angry. Yeah, it's not like he was lagging behind. He wasn't doing anything. That poor kid. Man. Oh, Tim.
He just, the more I read into
everything.
This person,
what is there good about this dude?
I haven't found a damn thing.
I have not seen anything good about this guy. Like, literally have not seen anything
he doesn't
good.
even know who his dog is, because older millennial on TikTok pointed out 2 separate posts that he had posted. One with a black lab, said, celebrating puppy day with our dog Scout. And then like a month later, it was like a collie, I love spending time with Scout. He's so wonderful. 2 damn different dogs.
Names this is like, what was the boxer's name? Named all of his kids George Foreman.
George Foreman.
Named all of his kids Hope. George. Hey, Hope. Thanks for joining.
And that's just, there's something not right with him. Well, we're going to get more into him in a little bit too. So.
Okay.
But here's some more. You're right, Brother Bill.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bill. This is more of that, look at what you're voting for. Look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Look at them. This is what you're choosing.
Mm-hmm.
It's to give them every opportunity. Yeah, definitely creepy vibes. To give them every opportunity to see any spark of hope within their heart, any kind of heart. And you have to see with your eyes the comparison and contrast between the two different parties at this point in time. Like it's so like easy to see that Ray Charles would be pointing stuff out at this point in time. And I don't understand how people can still follow on with that yay blue team kind of crap. It's just beyond me.
Yeah.
Jan says community fact checker said on Twitter that the second dog was one he ran up on at the dog park with Scout. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I agree. Someone does need to conduct a welfare check on that child.
Yeah. And who are you going to call to do that?
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
So Kamala, let's go.
But they had Stevie Wonder.
Did you know she was prophesied to not get in the White House? Watch this.
Gold, stone, California, a smaller statue. And God says, once you recognize the man that I have raised up, pray. For the enemy will do everything in his power to put a witch in the White House. Did anybody hear what he just said? For Jezebel has chased away the prophets and even Elijah. Now I have said, go back. For this shall be dismantled so that there will be no more corruption in the White House, says the Spirit.
For more truth and Jesus content like this, follow or subscribe now.
So, thoughts? Do you think he was talking about Kamala?
100%. 100% thought it was Kamala. I know that we were all hoping that it would have been Hillary, that we would have been 4 years down the road now, but that's not what we got now, is it?
No.
But the beautiful thing about that is how many more people are awakened now. And this is the part that, is much better because more people make this a much better, experience in the end. Because really, I think that's what most everybody's going to get out of this is one hell of an experience.
Yeah.
But they're going to try to put a witch in the White House, but they're going to change everything so it can't happen again. I look forward to seeing what the future holds.
And
I'm excited.
I really feel like Trump is anointed. I mean, there's so many things that have happened that it's just clear as day.
Yeah. Seems clear.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
Here we go. Tim again.
Here we go again.
Ready?
Yep.
Do you believe that the Communist Party has been grooming Tim Walz?
Oh, I think there's no question about it, Maria. It goes back to the exchange program that he ran and brought hundreds of students from the United States to China. In the early press accounts, Tim Walz describes it as unique and unusual and different, a program that nobody else has. And at the same time that he's bringing those students there, by the students' accounting, Tim Walz is saying things like, well, in China, nobody is poor because everybody shares in China, as if sort of the compulsive arm of the CCP is voluntary. I mean, sharing is voluntary. It's a ridiculous statement to make. There are other comments he made. He told students going to China to downplay their Americanness. There's an account from one student, I haven't been able to independently verify it, saying that he brought back lots of copies of Mao's Little Red Book when he was in China. So this is a relationship that's longstanding, and it carried forward when he joined Congress and the actions that he was taking in Congress as well.
This is very concerning. You also have notes on a meeting that he had with Premier Lee in 2016.
Yeah, this is very interesting. He goes to China in 2016 with a few other Democrats. He recounts how he's meeting with Chinese officials and he says, oh, I was in China. I was here in China in December of 1989. And they said, no, it was February of 1990. I mean, in other words, they had been tracking him when he was a young man. But in that meeting with Premier Li, it's a classic example of elite capture and what the Chinese call big help with a little bad mouth. Tim Walz has talked about the human rights condition in China, but it's never in the context of doing anything about it. And during this meeting with Premier Li, he told Premier Li, well, don't look to the United States as an example of how to do this because we don't know how to do it right either. Those are his descriptions of what he told Premier Li. So it's this massive moral equivalence, which is exactly what China wants from elites in the United States. Talk about human rights, but don't do anything about it. And also create this moral equivalence that the Chinese system's not any worse than ours. That is exactly what Tim Walz has done over the years.
Well,
Thoughts?
What a surprise. And they're in the Democratic Party too. It's weird that all of these people go to these communist countries and they're congressmen and senators in the Democratic Party. So strange. So weird. Who would have ever seen that coming?
No, exactly.
So he's like a legitimate Manchurian candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Totally brainwashed. Just, the Kool-Aid man himself.
Mm-hmm.
With his surprisingly puffy cheeks. Really weird. Anyway.
I know. So.
Yeah, compelled sharing. Exactly.
Exactly. So, all expense paid trip offered to attend the bitches' rallies.
Kamala.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, could you guys imagine if all of a sudden we found out that there were people being paid to go to political rallies? Like, imagine if, like, PACs supporting Trump were paying people, flying people out, paying for their food, their transportation, hotels, to go to rallies in these states to make it look like there's more people there that support him than they really do. Like, they're just being paid. Oh, wait, Kamala Harris is actually doing that, and I have proof that they're doing it, and it's insane. It's really well. Here's a casting billboard from Casting Network. Submissions were due yesterday for non-union actors, virtual auditions for real people for a Democratic event. So outside of being paid, there's also a per diem for meals and transportations, and they'll pay for flight and expenses to get to said event. But there's one thing that this shows me, it's that the whole Harris campaign ground game is a facade. If they're willing to literally pay for an all expense paid trip and pay people to just attend the rallies.
Who are they? Who the hell?
What are you doing?
Hit the wrong button. Anyway, yes, central casting.
Yeah, central casting. Hey, Carol. So yeah, central casting. Isn't that interesting? I'm very disappointed that they didn't use union members. Why wouldn't they use union members? I thought that they were the party that the union loved and that they cared about the union and did everything for the unions. Huh. But they chose not to use union actors.
No.
Well, that's weird. I wonder why they would do that. Maybe because they don't want to implicate their buddies. Even though their buddies are already implicated in so many different ways.
Well, there is that.
I mean, there is that. Interesting. I don't know. What are you supposed to do about that? Is they're communists who don't care about like supporting their own. It's weird.
I know.
They just there's absolutely nothing that they love other than themselves. Pure narcissistic personality disorder.
Yes.
The end. Yeah.
1000%, Santino.
Mm-hmm.
So, more on Kamala.
More on?
Yeah. See what I did there?
Friend Pete Hegseth, and it's good to have you, Pete, because tomorrow marks the 3rd-year anniversary of one of the greatest debacles in American military history, and that is the surrender to the Taliban in Afghanistan, the unbelievable murder of 13 American soldiers and hundreds of people wounded. We have Americans held hostage there still that they never talk about. We have allies, friends, interpreters, and others who are there, which this administration has done nothing. I understand they're actually giving billions of dollars to the Taliban. Now, Kamala Harris has said that she's the last one Biden spoke to. She was proud of it. She was proud of what took place. Isn't that the problem with somebody who has no experience in foreign policy and national security and does everything based on ideology?
Yes, she has. Not only does she have no experience, but she's been learning from the guy who's been wrong, as Bob Gates said, on every major foreign policy decision for the past 40 years, to include his own administration. Kamala Harris was right there when Joe Biden made this call. If she had an inkling of an understanding of how bad this would unfold, she should have and would have spoken up, but she didn't, which means she's completely complicit with abandoning our men, with the 13 who were killed while we relied on the Taliban for our security. And not just that, Mark, but the chaos that unfolded around the world after that. The invasion in Ukraine, because Vladimir Putin saw a no stop sign. Same thing in Israel with the attack from Hamas. That she's now on both sides of. She won't explain what she would do in Ukraine either. She has no worldview. She's an ideologue who barely likes, who comes from a Marxist background and is ambivalent about America's role in the world. So this is the Harris-Biden administration at this point. She would have made the same call Joe did, which means the world sees the same signals from her.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Thoughts?
So, yeah, she's sucked at everything and she's going to suck more. I think that's her campaign slogan.
It should be.
If it's not, it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So like, are we surprised that she's incapable?
No.
And underprepared to do this job? I didn't think so. I didn't think so. All right.
I mean, I'm not shocked. Are
No.
you shocked?
No, not even in the slightest.
Exactly. So speaking of those 13 American heroes, you know, they still haven't said their names, and we're not going to forget. So we're going to move forward.
Okay, good deal.
It's the dust and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's some handwritten letters from home. It's some sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down, he is alive. It's the red, white, and blue. For these stars that strive. Hey. From the fields of Indiana.
Has never said their names. And not only that, before I get your thoughts on that,
all right,
sir, not only have they never said their names, but they didn't even show up yesterday.
They didn't show up yesterday?
But Trump did.
Huh.
Ready? Step.
Present. Oh.
Order! Oh! Please turn in place and take time for dessert.
Thoughts?
So, couple of things going on here. I know that when we've seen, my heart breaks for their families too. I know that when we had seen Biden do Memorial Day, that, you know, he was bothered by the entire scenario, or he was checking his watch when their remains were brought home. All of the things that have happened since then. Also, when I skipped, but anyways, when Biden did the Memorial Day, and he just had that awkward, you know, like touch the wreath and didn't know what he needed to do or whatever. And I'm gonna say that you're actually watching the real president right there. I can't imagine I can't imagine anybody would be able to rent time at the Tomb of the Unknown.
Correct.
So I'm going to say that they don't want Biden there. And that is another indicator, other than the fact that that's the same unit that did the funeral Cannon 21 gun salute. And then Trump is there to do this ceremony. I'm going to say that this is one of those, we can only take so much disrespect towards the people who have been disrespected so greatly to begin with by the person that had stolen the election and found himself as the usurper of the United States. I'm glad to see that he wasn't there, and I'm glad to see that proper respect was given by the proper president.
Me too. You ready?
Yep.
So, listen to this.
This is Juan, who I found selling water right outside the Stewart Hotel.
Where are you from?
En Ecuador, soy de Ecuador.
What do you do for work here in New York?
Actualmente no, porque no tengo la documentación.
When did you get to New York?
En marzo.
March. Who are you voting for, Trump or Kamala?
Kamala.
Why Kamala? ¿Por qué Kamala?
Porque veo muchas oportunidades en ella y está más con los inmigrantes que Trump.
Do you have the plan to vote on November 5th?
Estoy en duda. Estoy en tela de duda.
Did somebody tell you that you can vote at the hotel?
O sea, por ahí me dijeron una referencia que yo como inmigrante podía votar.
Did they tell you that you need any sort of identification to vote?
Yo, claro, como en todo país, yo tengo mi identificación aquí, pero la de la ciudad.
¿Te dejan votar con esa identificación?
Tendría que, no tengo idea, pero tendré que consultarlo.
He doesn't know. He has to consult with someone to figure out if he's allowed to do it with his license. He has
Si tengo la ID de aquí.
Yeah, he has a state ID, but he doesn't know if he can vote. Okay, how did you get your ID? ¿Cómo conseguiste la ID?
Me sacaron una cita por medio de una organización, asistí y me demoraron 15 días y me la entregaron.
Thoughts?
The immigration office gave him a state ID. How fantastic is that? This is part of the movie. That's what I'm going with on this one. This is part of the movie. This is to get people to recognize how ridiculous it's gotten, because this is just beyond the pale. Anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It was. How can anybody be so bold to come to a country illegally and get an ID and then talk on a camera about
Voting
illegally? Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Oh my goodness. You ready?
Yeah.
So we got the hoe again.
We're in the middle of a crisis caused by this pandemic that is a public health crisis. We're looking at over 220 million Americans who just in the last several months died.
We are in the midst of a public health epidemic that has taken the lives of over 220 million Americans in just the last several months.
God, you can go back.
Oh,
All right.
okay. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I already took it down.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm still playing in the background. So
she said it twice. 220 million Americans.
Yeah.
And people think she can be a president?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Apparently 220 million of them. But whatever. It's all made up anyways. At this point, what difference does it make?
Oh my goodness.
Really. I can't see this as anything other than intended to wake people up. But then again, I remember when I was into the party politics thing, and you're willing to forgive so many stupid things. Oh, wish they hadn't done that, but whatever. It was all fake.
Goodness.
Yeah, goodness. Anyway.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I got Joe Rogan and Kid Rock.
All right, nice.
You go to one place, where would you go? If you had one shot, you can go back in time once and survive and come back to the future. Where would you go? Jesus. Jesus. What if there was nobody there?
Even better, I get them all to myself, just me and Jesus.
No, I mean, what if Jesus wasn't there? What if you go back and you're like, I just want to go see Jesus? And they're like, okay. What time?
He's there.
You think there's a real Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely?
Absolutely. 1000%.
What makes you convinced?
My faith.
So you think the real truth was that he actually was the Son of God?
Yes.
It'd be amazing if it was true.
It is amazing.
I believe you. I believe that you believe that.
Would you like to be introduced to Jesus?
Listen, I think the concept of Jesus is absolutely amazing. And if Jesus came here and wanted to visit me, I would be psyched.
Would you like to know Jesus?
In what way?
I can put my pastor on your show.
I'm good.
Jesus is everywhere. He's in this room. He's in the world. He's in the universe. By the aliens that you want so desperately to be real or have the concept of them being real, that's Jesus. That is Jesus. Jesus and God are everywhere. They're everywhere. Yeah. Every time you look at a flower that blooms or you look at one of your children, you're like, that's Jesus. That is Jesus. That is God.
Thoughts?
I can tell you that when the sound is off from what I'm seeing the mouth do, it makes me nervous. Like, is this a deep fake or whatever? But I do think that conversation had actually gone on between the two of them. And like, okay, Joe Rogan, I believe that he's probably still kind of in the whole like trying to figure it out phase, but I know Kid Rock has been a believer. He's been a Christian for a long time, hasn't been afraid to say anything about it. Now, in terms of his music or whatever, no, it's not really Christian music per se. But then again, both of these people are entertainers, so they speak a different language. They understand what's popular and stuff like that. And so a lot of those things, I believe, become measured in terms of what you actually want to talk about. And I do believe that it would be very difficult for a lot of people in the entertainment industry to be able to come out as a Christian, because it might offend so many of the people. Then you're shut down. Then you can't even try to get a message out, even if it is encoded and most people don't get it, but you're still trying to fight that fight. I see that happening a lot. And so it's nice to see that more and more people are coming out as Christians, and it's becoming a normal part of the conversation, because in the end, that's what's truly going to save us. It's not Q. Q is being used by God, and that's how this whole thing works. And so as more people come to God, the stronger the revival will be, and that strong revival will get America back to what we know it should be. We're on our
Yes.
way there, but still got some work to do.
I agree. So this one touched my heart, so I wanted to share it with everyone.
All right.
The Bible says in Isaiah 40:31 that those who trust in the Lord shall renew their strength. See, God wants you to know that if you're tired, if you're exhausted, if you're depleted and you feel like you cannot go forward and move forward, that as you trust in Him, He will give you the strength to take another step. That as you put your confidence in God, He will give you the capacity, the endurance to keep going, to keep moving forward, to keep putting one foot in front of the next. Because trusting God, believes for the best, hopes for the best, has confidence in faith that God will make a way, even when there appears to be no way. That God will see me through, even when I cannot see a way through myself. Trust in the Lord, and your strength will be renewed.
That one touched me because of everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Trump. It's not, anyone. Yes, I will, Miss Jenny. It's God. God is going to get us through this. And that's so important. And the more and more I see people waking up to God and wanting to know more and, reading the Bible and talking to God. And I mean, that's what it's just amazing. Thank you, Stephen. And yeah, Jenny, I knew I was going to hit feels today, but at the same time, this is so important to let everyone know that Trump is just a vessel. God is the one moving us to so much more and such a better place.
Mm-hmm.
So, thoughts, Santino?
It was nice to hear your thoughts for a change. I've been asking her. She's been hiding behind without a camera and nothing. So y'all go ahead and write her ass about that. Bring her back on camera. But anyways, I digress. So it's life can beat you down. Life can grind you down. We've all been there. Some of us may be there right now. It's just the way things go. There's seasons. And it's in those difficult seasons where it may be moment by moment and just asking for anything. And you know what? Every single time I've made it through 100% of the challenges up to this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been helping me every time. And, only until the past couple of years have I actually, really started, giving him the credit and recognizing he is where that energy comes from. He is the one that can fill us when we are empty. And really, when it seems to be so difficult and so challenging, the world is falling apart. I mean, we've been going through this for years now, and we're watching all this, and it can really grind you down. But you know what? Every single time I ask, he's there. And he provides me the energy to just, one foot in front of the other. And sometimes that's all it is. One foot in front of the other. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that. I'm so glad to see you too today. And sorry yesterday was shitty. That's cool, bro. But I'm glad you're here today. Well, thank you.
We're glad we're here today too.
Brother Bill says, Lord God, in the name of Yeshua, I ask you to make yourself known to Joe Rogan and his listeners in the way only you can, that you draw them to you, that they would be saved. Amen. Amen, Bill.
I just want you guys to know.
He was speaking through Bill right there. That's awesome.
I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much. I know, Renee, it's just sometimes I get so busy in the background that it's real hard for me, but I am going to work on putting my thoughts out there more. It takes me a little bit more than Santino because he really is just brilliant.
From an ancient line of chariot salesmen.
Oh, stop it. So We had J6.
Used chariot salesman.
J6.
It's a better
Now-
deal. If y'all
now-
want a chariot, hit me up.
Now we have J13, and Dan Bongino is going to talk about it. You ready?
All right. Yes.
Well, thanks for your time. Thank you for doing this. Sound okay? Everybody hear me back there? Great. Fantastic. Listen, let's just get right to the point. This was an apocalyptic security failure. A man was murdered in front of his family. 3 people were shot on live television, including President Trump in the head, who came within 2 millimeters of having his head explode on national television in front of millions of people. There's no sugarcoating it. It's no time for BS. Unfortunately, as Congressman Crane and Mills both indicated, the story seems to have been vanquished to the phantom zone of media coverage. It's amazing how we're still talking about JFK's assassination, but nobody seems to want to talk about President Trump being shot in the head on national television, despite the fact that we have no answers. So I have 5 minutes, so I want to keep it quick, and I want to make 3 points. I worked in the Secret Service for 12 years. I loved it. I worked with some really amazing men and women who gave everything. I mean, a couple of them literally gave everything. I know guys who've gotten bizarre diseases overseas, like chikungunya fever and protection operations. Everybody gave a little bit of something in the Secret Service, and it was a real honor to say I was part of it. But they have 3 institutional problems, I believe, in the macro will help us get to the bottom of how this Secret Service apocalyptic failure won't happen again. First, they have a technology problem. The joke in the Secret Service, which is just sadly no longer funny when I was there, and it wasn't funny then either, is they rely on yesterday's technology tomorrow. Think about that. Yesterday's technology tomorrow. Everything from computer systems that waste agents' times, filling out time and attendance records they were doing, to Congressman Crane and I discussing the fact that they only implemented slings, a technology as old as the wheel, about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years into my time in the Secret Service, which is embarrassing. The weaponry was old. Everything was old. These are things I would have talked about sooner if they didn't create a security crisis, and I obviously didn't want to air them publicly. Now you're seeing what happens when you don't have a drone up at a site you could have bought for $39.99 on Amazon. Second, another adage in the Secret Service, you've heard even the new acting director discuss, is the more with less approach. There is no more with less. There's less with less, okay? The Secret Service more with less approach only works if you produce more. That's how capitalism works. You produce a flat screen TV that was probably 20 years ago, $10,000. It's $200 at Walmart now. They produce a better TV with less. That's not what the Secret Service did. They produced less with more. They were given more money and produced less. A 20-year-old criminal outsmarted them on a $40 drone technology piece of device. You're telling me that's more with less? That's disgusting. That's nothing with less. That's less with more. Their budget went up. You guys know you're appropriators. You know that. Third, and I'll wrap it up with this, turn it over to Mr. Prince. The investigative mission, the Secret Service, that they're telling you they need to make them better agents is total crap. That's garbage. Their agents are talented, smart people. They can figure out how to do protection without running out cheap $20 counterfeit notes at 7-Eleven on a Friday night while the president's getting shot in the head. How is it we have a DEA, we have an FBI, we have TIGTA, the IRS, CBP, and 1,000 other entities with a $6 trillion budget, which I know a lot of you guys have been fighting against this grotesque spending. $3 billion goes to the Secret Service, and we're wasting time running out counterfeit notes. It's a serious problem, counterfeiting. Granted, it might be a legacy item. They started doing counterfeiting. That's not what we do now. Get rid of the investigative mission, turn it over to other people, let them do what they do best and should do best. Protection. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you for doing it.
Thoughts?
Sounds governmental to me. Sounds absolutely governmental. It's very similar to the Marine Corps, do more with less kind of thing. You know, we take pride in the fact, and I think that that's kind of what he was getting at is that you take pride in the fact that you do more with less than everybody else. But really, the problem is that that's a fallacy. It's not true. It's not happening. You're not doing more with less. You're just preventing some of the more capable from being able to get some more things done with less resources in the end. That's how the SEALs work. That's how the entire special operations community works. They get all of the funds and they're able to do magical things. But to take away some people that, you know, are the value option, I think it's great that the value option is there. But at the same time, when we're talking about the protecting the president of the United States, maybe we should get them some of the vast resources that are available to the government, so that way they can prevent something like this from happening. So that way a 20-year-old know-nothing was able to almost change the course of history.
Exactly.
Hmm.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, $10,000 toilet seats.
Let's go.
They're space.
When you're chosen, you will be tested. Let me tell you what just happened to me 2 nights ago. So God's been dealing with me about my future. He's been dealing with me about preparing for my future. And there's something that he wanted me to do. He wanted me to drive 2 hours away back to my hometown to a rented storage unit and retrieve something in that unit. This has been on my heart for about 2 weeks, and I've been putting it off because it's a 2-hour drive. On top of that, it's going to take me probably an hour, hour and a half in the heat of moving stuff around and getting what I need. But God would not let this go. It was something on my mind every day I got up, all day long. When I tried to go to bed, it was something that was always there. And I knew it was God. I knew this was something that he wanted me to do because he would not let it go. That's an indication in your life, whether you're hearing from God or not. It's that thing that's a constant reminder. A lot of times that is God. So anyways, I finally submitted one night or 2 nights ago, and I said, you know what, Lord, I'll go right now. And it was 8 p.m. I still had to go into town, retrieve some things to help me move some stuff around and get organized for what I had to do. I did that. By then it was 10 o'clock. I took off 2 hours away, got there at midnight to this storage unit back in my hometown. And it's a pretty nice layout, nice place, and it's got a big gate around it. When you pull up, it's got a keypad. So you enter your 5-digit code to that keypad, and the gate rolls out of the way so you can pull in there. And I punched the numbers in, and it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't do anything. I was stuck there. And I tried for several minutes. And I finally got discouraged. I said, God, you did not bring me all this way for failure. You did not set me up for failure. That's not your nature. And I said, I know this is you. You sent me here. I know I heard this from you. And I pulled the car forward. I got out and I kind of leaned on my fender. And I said, Holy Spirit, I need the combination. He did not give me the combination. He told me to put my finger on the pad and hit 5 random numbers. And I did that. And when I did, the gate opened and rolled out of the way. So needless to say, I praise God and thank you, Jesus, as I was diving in the car and laying drag to get through the gate in case it changed its mind. But anyways, I got back there to the storage unit and I did what I had to do. It took me about 2 hours. And by the time I got done, there was nothing dry on my body but my shoelaces. I mean, this was a job. And I got in the car. When I went to leave the gate, it closed behind me and God spoke to me. He said, where I send you, your provision will be there. And then he reminded me that delayed obedience is disobedience. What test do you have in your life? What instruction are you ignoring? Always remember this. Each test ushers in trust. Luke 16:10, whoever can be trusted in the small things can be trusted with the big things. Listen, I know tests can be grueling and they can wear you down, but let me remind you of something. The Lord tests the righteous.
Yeah. Wow.
Thoughts?
Delayed obedience is disobedience. Yeah. Wow. And, you know, I think, God, I love the stuff he says too. I'm so glad you play him. It's like, I can see that. I can see how that's played out in my own life in the past, where it was like, oh, I know I should be doing this, but I didn't, and so therefore, things didn't work out the way they should, and it's like, oh man, I wish I would have done this. I had this inspiration, and sometimes we forget that that inspiration is actually him talking to us, and so we kind of got to follow our inspirations. Obviously, we're not, going to do anything that's going to harm anybody or anything, but we're certainly, and we're not going to take undue risks, but we're going to, follow and really, it's kind of one of those magical things in life if you think about it. I know that I had no desire to go back to Las Vegas. Yeah, me too, Hope. We had no desire to go back to Las Vegas. We wanted to go to Florida. That's where we want to be. But we were also being led to go to Las Vegas, and so here we are. And I'm glad that we have, because the experiences that I'm having this time around are absolutely amazing. I'm getting some good closure with this town that we've called home for so long. And
Long time.
long time. And it's sad, but at the same time, got to be able to move forward in the future, and you want to be able to have some of that good closure before you head out. Also, with that being said, I'm doing all these classes and everything, and I'm meeting some great people, and people that can really provide me a lot of their wisdom, even though they may be younger. And it also gives me that opportunity to talk to this younger crowd of people and show them that it's okay to be confident to talk about these things that are important to you in life, especially when it comes to politics. They're very educated. They're very open-minded. And so really, we have no idea why we're doing the things. But the beauty of it folds out as time goes on. And especially so if we're doing what we're inspired to be breathed into, is the definition of inspired. When we are inspired, we do those things, and life is magical.
It is. It is. And speaking of Las Vegas,
Las
so there's our town in the background.
They must be at Trump Tower.
Yes. If you
Wonder
guys
why.
haven't seen this video, I would suggest going and watching this interview. But here's a little snippet of it.
All right.
Just returned home to my family from Las Vegas, Nevada, where I had the honor and privilege to interview the 45th President of the United States, President Trump, who's now running to be number 47. He's also the most hated man on the planet by the media, who always misconstrues anything that he says. They never miss an opportunity to do that. And so I went there with one goal in mind. And that goal was to offer him a platform where he can talk about the issues at hand without people attacking him and misconstruing what he's talking about. Let me tell you, we definitely accomplished the mission. Here's what we talk about. We talk about some of the things that he has said about veterans that the media has put out. We talk about the Afghanistan withdrawal and how it would have been different if he was in. We talk about how we've sent $175 billion to Ukraine. And if that's going to end, if he's going to get to have Zelensky and Putin at the table and negotiate some type of a deal so we can spend the next $175 billion on our own infrastructure. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about the power grid. We talk about China. We talk about the race to artificial intelligence. And if Elon Musk is going to have a seat at his cabinet, if he does take the presidency. We move on. We talk about his stance on abortion. We talk about the border. We talk about how he's going to clean up the military if he gets in. We talk about how he's going to win the women's vote. We talk about what he believes is the weakest part of his campaign. And we end it with, if he gets in there, are we going to see any consequences for these sick, self-serving piece of shit politicians in Washington who are negotiating foreign deals to make themselves millions and millions of dollars by setting up deals with our tax money. Probably the most important question of all, are we going to see accountability in our government if he gets in there? Interview comes out at 12:30 Central Time on Monday. It's going to be a big day. And I'm going to end this with one more thing. Not everybody's going to vote. They're never going to do it. Here's the new message. Instead of trying to get everybody to vote, on voting day, go to your buddy's house who's not going to vote and drag their ass off that couch and get them to the polls to vote. That's how we win this thing. See y'all on Monday. God bless you, and God bless America. I read that Elon Musk said that he would accept a position in your cabinet. Would that have to do with artificial intelligence?
So
if
Elon
you
and
chose
I
him?
have a great relationship. He's great. He is a totally unusual character. Do you know Elon at all?
I don't.
He's great. And he's smart. And we have to cherish our geniuses. You know, we don't have too many of them, right? But he is a brilliant guy. And what he really would like to do is get involved in cutting some of the fat. And he does know how to do it. And he loves the country. You know, it's just an amazing thing. We had a conversation the other day. You would know better than me, but I hear it had hundreds of millions of people. I heard it had the biggest audience that there's ever been. I mean, would you say that's a correct
I
statement?
would absolutely say
There's
that's
never been
correct.
anything even close. I heard 750 million people. I mean, numbers that are crazy. And yeah, he wants to be involved. Now, look, he's running big businesses and all that, so he can't really, I don't think he'd be for cabinet. I'd put him in the cabinet, absolutely, but I don't know how he could do that with all the things he's got going. But he can sort of, as the expression goes, consult with the country and give you some very good ideas. Like on AI, there's nobody knows more about it than Elon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big, big thing. And he said it's very important. I mean, it's very important for the country. If we don't do it, China's going to do it, or somebody else, but most likely China. And China is working right now to develop massive electricity, a flood of electricity, a massive flood of electricity. And we don't, because we have people that they're not even thinking about that.
Yeah.
And we have to win this election. This election is going, November 5th will be the most important day, in my opinion, in the history of our country. Because if our country goes the wrong way with this election, I think this country is doomed.
Thoughts?
We would definitely be doomed. It's important. This is the most important election of your life. I can't see it any other way. This is, I think this is the closest Americans have gotten to the truth in over 100 years. Got to drag people out there. They may not know how important it is, but they got to go. This is our daughter's first election, 18. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I remember my first election. It was Ross Perot.
Hmm?
Yeah, he was great. I loved Ross Perot. He was
Me too,
also
Eric.
trying to tell the truth back in the day, too.
You know what? And he probably, I think it was the chair and the way they were scooched
Sit in
up.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. But yeah, they were seriously high water, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of J.D. Vance earlier, here he
Mhm.
is.
Here we go.
Now, the estimates vary, but how do you respond to that charge that Trump's tariffs would hurt the middle class?
Yeah, so if you step back a little bit, Kristen, there's this whole thing that Kamala Harris did at the convention where she made a bunch of claims about what would happen and not enough actually reflection on what already happened, right? Because Donald Trump was already president. He used tariffs to bring manufacturing jobs back to our country, and I think he'll do it again. And he did it while keeping prices extremely low. Because if you go back to the Trump presidency, we had 12,000 factories that were built during Donald Trump's presidency. Inflation never really ticked above 2% his entire administration. In fact, was sort of around 1.5% most of the time that he was president. So when Kamala Harris says, if we do the thing that Trump already did, it's going to be way worse than it was last time, I just don't think that makes a lot of sense.
So thoughts?
So I got a little sidetracked on that one. I was trying to catch up. But anyways, so yeah, I know. My bad. I'm sorry. I failed miserably on that one.
It's okay.
I try to keep up with so much.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, you ready for the next one? Sassy. That should make you feel better.
Well, hold on, because I wasn't ready. Because
you weren't ready
I
because
do things in the background.
Well, we didn't have a Monday, so we'll have our Monday today.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, hold on. Almost ready.
All right. My bad, y'all. Just total, sidetrack there. Anyways, y'all should see the faces she's making. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay, let's go.
Thank you.
I scrolled up today on this lying liberal lizard. She was a bitter Betty, a heifer bitch, spouting her poison and her bullshit, talking about how Trump was such an evil man. Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all ever get tired of lying? I feel like it would have to get exhausted. Let's talk about how evil Trump is. He is so evil that he donated his hundreds of thousands of dollars of presidential salaries to veterans to battle the opioid crisis. He's gave millions to charity over the years. He doesn't discriminate. He's all the time going out his way to do things. Does for Americans, not just Black Americans or just white Americans or just Latino Americans, not just Jewish American, not just Christian American, not just pagan American. Just fucking American. Us, the common folk, the peasants. And that's supposed to be bad? He's a piece of shit. He's the bad guy. There's stories everywhere. Farmer tried to take his life to save his farm. He did. They wouldn't pay. And he saved it from foreclosure. Hell, that was 30 years ago. You can look it up. Last name Hill. Bus driver. By the way, he was black. Not that that matters to a Republican, but it will to Democrats. That black bus driver kept her from unaliving. And Trump sent him a $10,000 check. Just fucking because. Well, get Lucifer on speed dial. Hill's favorite soldier has went wild. You see how evil and racist? What about the boy with brittle bone disease? He made all the donations for. Only the evil try to save children. Or we could talk about what he done for the Hudson. He's a racist. What about them gay weddings at Mar-a-Lago? One of them phobiaires. He try to tell you who you can love. Try to take your rights away. You don't just drive a Bugatti. He is one too. Or what about the Orthodox Jewish boy? When he let the family take his private jet for a medical emergency. You see how anti-semen tech he is? That put 3 more holes in ozone. Just a trash human. What about the people he's paid for them to go to school? We'll never know all the good this man has done. I could go on and on, but this man has been working in the shadows doing good deeds his entire life. This evil, evil man, buying and giving. So terrible. He's basically been America's Santa. And up until this dude ran for president, all the people who are vilifying him now were his best friend. Joy Bayer loved him. Him and old Whoopi Cushion. Why, they's like this. Ellen loved him. Shoot, even Ellen's mom. All the Democrat dingbats. Who would think if you were a brainwashed liberal, at some point you'd really stop and ask yourself, everybody sung his praises. He was such a terrible person all his life. Why are the people that you now support his closest friend? That make them terrible people? See, that's the problem. Y'all don't never think. You wait for somebody to tell you what to think. I won't even call y'all sheep. Sheep sometimes run astray. Y'all like slobbering jellyfish. Nobody ever said shit bad about this man until they didn't want him to be in power because they couldn't control him. This man took a bullet for y'all, for this country. He Teflon Don, Energizer Trump. I think it's high motherfucking time that you quit vilifying him. If you don't want him to be your president, that's one thing. But stop fucking lying on him. I know if you're a liberal, it hurts to not be able to breathe and lie at the same time. But just sit down, you liberal Kool-Aid. You ask me, he's one of the most decent, most charitable people that has or will ever set foot in that White House. I said what I said. Y'all need to do your own research. Try looking on something besides Google. In case you don't know, that's bought and paid for too. This man has been in the spotlight his whole life and was always considered one of the most charitable, nicest people that you could meet. You really have to ask yourself, what the fuck happened? Or what were you told to think happened? Don't y'all ever get ashamed of looking so hateful and stupid? Least you liberals can do to keep your self-respect and dignity is to just fucking wake up. That is all.
Thoughts?
The left has shown themselves to, especially all the Hollywood types, have shown themselves with their relationship with President Trump, how fake they really are. It's not surprising, really. It's a bunch of people who act for a living that act any way that I guess they're either told to act or feel that's in their best interest. No surprises there. Hey, Tracy, thanks for joining. It was the they lie all the time. Sorry, yeah, headache. But anyways, not sorry, but thank you for understanding. That's kind of part of what's going on here. Anyway, so yeah, Sassy brought up a whole bunch of good points.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go.
Jesus says, sometimes I put you in places alone because I need you to realize that you do not need anybody but me. Don't worry about your future. You have me and I will guide you. Trust me. I did not forget about you. My timing is just different from yours. Stay positive and trust that everything is working for your good. Have faith, even if you think you can't do it. You know that I can do all things. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances. For this is my will for you in Christ Jesus. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. And never forget that I love you, my child, and will always love you. Amen. Comment amen if you agree.
Thoughts?
Have faith in all circumstances. That seems to be another theme here. Even the circumstances where I'm like failing miserably today. So yeah, forgive me on that one. Having that faith is one of the things that makes a whole lot of things a lot easier, even when they should be the most miserable things going on. He really is the rock that we build our foundation upon, and those are the things that truly make life bearable sometimes when it can be unbearable. But that persistence is much easier when we have God there for us and on our side. And he's always there waiting for us. He loves us. We're his children, and he wants to do things for us. We just got to make sure that he's a part of our life as well. And that's where the pray continually comes from. Is always keep him on your mind. And that will be the guide that we need to make things better. And then that will make it easier to give thanks at all times.
I agree. I mean, we have to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we absolutely do.
Well, we're human. We're going to screw up. We're going to make
Of
mistakes. We're going to
course.
have problems. It's, part of the joy of being human. Yay.
Yay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Self together and quit tripping.
Oh, Lord. Now what's going on?
It bounced.
It bounced.
Pull yourself together and quit tripping because you in the process. God is processing you. He ain't through with you. If he was through with you, you would not wake up in the morning. He gonna fix it. Everything is wrong. First of all, let me tell you this right here. Why are you tripping? I look back on my life at all that I've been through. So the stuff I'm currently going through, I have built up enough reservoir that living in the car taught me that this ain't it. So the things I'm going through now, I know this ain't it. That he gonna come get me in a minute. So all I gotta do is sit tight. I ain't in a bad place. Now I ain't where I wanna be, but the spot I'm in is better than where I was.
And that's something I think everyone at some point in their life forgets. God's not done with you. There's a process. And as you go through the process, there's going to be trials and there's going to be tests. But as we move forward, you have to just know that everything you're going through it for a reason. Because without having that test or that trial, you might run into someone and not be able to help them because you would have no idea how they felt. Like, I could sit down and talk to someone who had been in a bad car accident and has terrible health issues now because I've been there, done that. So you have to remember that everything we're going through right now, whether it's with the government, with with Joe and the hoe, whatever the case may be, with people being nasty and mean to us, we're all going through it together for a reason. We're here to to help and to be special because people are going to need us. And more things are coming to light. And I'm sure there's people in your life that maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they didn't believe anything you said. And now they're all like, whoa, wait a minute. How did you know? Just remember when you're talking to them, be humble and just help them move forward. And remember, at one point, you were them and you were asleep too.
Beautifully said.
Seasoning?
Not a whole lot to that one. The spot I'm in is better than the spot I was. And that's what we're here to do, is help other people get in a better spot than where they was. And it's about that faith. It's about that persistence. It's about carrying on and following through with those inspirations that you get. It's an amazing process. I know that my life has changed, and I will say that I know that my life is better than it was, and it's better than it was because of God and because other people were there to help me. So got to be there to help others as well.
Amen.
Don't get all that wisdom for nothing. No, ain't no use in collecting wisdom if you ain't going to try to share it. Anyways.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, better than being a spot on the road. Anyways, thank you all for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be in a little bit better spot than we were today. But anyways, thank you very much. We love each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on X, smash that heart. We love each and every one of you guys so very much. And we cannot wait until tomorrow to talk to each and every one of you again.
We look forward to it. Thanks all for joining us. We love you all. Have a great night. God bless and be safe.